spaghetti and meatballs, bagels and cream cheese, electrons and protons. I love a great combination. And is there a better combination than Yankees pinstripes and the Major League Baseball home run champ? I think not. I don't know about you guys, but I am really excited that Luke Voit is going to be back in the lineup. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, the Yankees have not announced it yet. But after Sunday's game, Chris Gittens was sent back down to the minor leagues, which means, as of right now, the time that I'm filming this on Monday night, the Yankees don't have a first baseman on the roster. But it's expected that Luke Voit, the reigning American League home run champion, is going to step in on Tuesday night, and he's going to add a ton of value. He came back earlier and wasn't great after returning from knee surgery. He came back right at the time when every pitcher in the league, it seemed like, was dominating. There was a bunch of no-hitters. MLB had yet to crack down on the sticky substances. He was actually on the field for Corey Kluber's no-hitter. He played first base that night that Jordan Montgomery and Carlos Rodon had that great pitcher's duel. The Yankees turned a triple play late in that game. And there's no question that we've missed Luke Voit. Not just his power, he hits line drives, he gets on base, and he'll pick up hits with runners in scoring position. He's not a guy who typically is an all-or-nothing type hitter. He makes a lot of contact. He'll use the whole field. I've seen him shoot a number of balls through that right side with the entire field open. We're going to need him to come back and to bring that situational approach with him. If he comes back trying to launch everything in orbit, that's the wrong approach. That's not the approach the Yankees are taking right now. He's strong enough that he doesn't need to swing from the heels every time to hit home runs. Just cut down on that swing a little bit, put the ball in play a little bit more, take some pitches, get on base, play good defense, and you'll be a humongous asset to this team, right as the Yankees are getting ready to go into a stretch where they could climb up the ladder even further. The Red Sox and the Rays are playing each other this week, which means if they beat up on each other and the Yankees can just keep winning, they'll have a chance to gain a couple of games in the standings on somebody. So there is a solid chance that when the Yankees face off against the Red Sox next weekend, first place could be on the line. I want to know in the comments who you guys voted for as Yankees All-Stars. I really think that the Yankees should have 3 All-Stars this year. Garrett Cole, in my opinion, is a given. He might even start the All-Star game, depending on how everything lines up. But Garrett Cole has been an All-Star. He's been excellent this year. He had that one streak where he had like 59 or 60 strikeouts in a row. I can't even remember the number now, but he was absolutely tremendous. And then you've also got Aroldis Chapman. He was one of the best pitchers in the American League, forget relief pitchers, for the first month and a half or so of the season. He struggled a little bit lately. He's been human, but he's still got really, really great numbers. 16 saves. He strikes out a million hitters. He's absolutely dominating. And I think that the Yankees obviously are going to have Aaron Judge be an All-Star. I know there's a lot of talk about Gary Sanchez being an All-Star. He may very well get in on the fan ballot, but I don't see him being selected. I think that Aaron Judge will be the Yankees' representative in the starting lineup. He is obviously one of the most dynamic players in baseball. He's one of the most recognizable faces in baseball, even with the teeth that have been fixed. And he's having a pretty good year. He's been on the field. He's not having that 50 home run season, but he's on pace for about, 38 to 45 home runs, depending on how hot he gets in the second half. So my 3 predictions for Yankees All-Stars: Garrett Cole, Aroldis Chapman, and Aaron Judge. You might get Gary Sanchez in on the fan ballot, though I don't think he's going to make it this year. Although he's played like an all-star for the last couple of weeks, so kudos to Gary. One of the people that's kind of blocking Gary Sanchez from making that American League all-star team is Salvador Perez. Salvador Perez is having a monster season for the Kansas City Royals, who are in town this week. Salvador Perez is batting .292 with an .863 OPS, a .130 OPS plus, 18 home runs, 47 ribbies. He's pretty much Kansas City's biggest threat. 31-year-old catcher having a very nice year. Their 35-year-old first baseman, Carlos Santana, also dangerous. He's batting .245, 11 home runs, 40 ribbies. He's got 46 walks and 42 strikeouts, so he's an on-base threat. He really works the count. The Yankees are going to have to pitch him very aggressively. Their pitching staff really doesn't scare me at all. Mike Minor is the type of guy who could give the Yankees trouble because he's a crafty lefty. He's kind of got that, I don't know, Rich Hill vibe to him where he could spin a really good game. They've also got Brad Keller, Brady Singer, and Chris Bubick. I don't know who any of those guys are, but their numbers are not that impressive. 6.34, 4.76, 4.17. Danny Duffy, as you can see, is on the injured list. 1.94 ERA in 7 starts. He's a good left-handed pitcher. He would give the Yankees fits, and I think he has in the past. But the Royals don't scare me. The Yankees should make up some ground this week if they play up to their abilities. All right, the interview for today, you know this guy from John Boy Media, from Talkin' Baseball, from Talkin' Yanks. He is the producer for some of the top baseball podcasts in the world. Big Baby David. So how'd you get set up with John Boy and Jake?
I mean, when Jimmy was starting to fully get everything going, he started the podcast and being really active on Twitter. I was starting to use Twitter more myself, and I found myself in his periscopes a lot. I think particularly during this 2017 playoff run, because it was every night he was doing periscopes, live streaming himself watching those games. So he just got used to seeing my name around there, and then eventually, I guess the next season we met at like a game in Philly. So we met in person once, and so he figured out I wasn't that weird. And then, a month later, I think my family was on vacation not far from his house on the Jersey Shore. So then he and I got together and watched a game, and he figured out I was doing a writing internship, and our website at that time still had blogging on it. So then he's like, oh, when your internship's over, blog at our website. So then he and I worked together doing that for a while, and they couldn't pay me to do that, but I was still in college, so I didn't care. It was just a nice way to keep writing about the Yankees after my internship ended. And then but from there we just kind of kept adding stuff on because I just kept wanting to do more. Eventually he taught me how to edit videos, and I started doing some Instagram stuff, and then Jake added me to the Talkin' Knicks roster, and eventually I graduated and I was doing other jobs for a while until finally everything started really growing with the company, and we could start having people be full-time, because I was helping with the t-shirt store, and it was enough for me to not need a job right out of school, but just kept adding tasks and all that, and eventually there was room for me, and the job I took eventually became being the producer on stuff. So I learned how to edit podcasts and all that, and I don't know, here we are. That's been a year and a half now.
So as anybody who does this can tell you, technical catastrophes happen. What's kind of the worst malfunction you can think of? Has anything ever gone down during a game, or any major catastrophes that you can think of?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a few times where just my own mess ups. I upload an episode of Talkin' Yanks to Talkin' Baseball. That one happened fairly recently. That's an easy fix. But I mean, our technology acts up all the time. I mean, every week on Talkin' Baseball, Trevor Plouffe's audio goes nuts because our program's really bad. It's not his fault. I'm not describing it well at all, but just our audio gets all messed up, and I think it comes from hot days on the wiring getting just messed up from that. And we always have to change out cords and stuff.
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
Sometimes we're looking at each other what do we do? Do we stop the episode? It's well, in post I know I can get it to be okay, so let's just keep going, and I'll re-upload.
Yeah, I get a problem when it rains. When it rains and I'm trying to do a live post-game show, and it cuts out and somebody missed 5 minutes, it's Jesus Christ. It's at what point do you stop trying to reconnect and just shut it down and
if you just fully reboot?
God, it's frustrating.
Yeah, we've had a lot of times where I don't know, the office is fuller one day, there's more, if we get 10 people there, internet battles us, so we battle the internet a lot.
Who are some of the more entertaining guests that you've had a chance to have on, and who had you just kind of cracking up behind the boards there?
I mean, our go-to answer is always Cole Tucker, Pirates shortstop. Yeah. He's a man. He's become a real friend. He and I text from time to time. It's he's just the best person in the world. He's just the nicest guy.
Is there somebody that you're dying to have on, the dream guest for John Boy and Jake, that you could just kind of be a part of?
We've had so many people that like I think would have been the answer to this. Like we've had Kay on a few times and Rugo. I mean, now it'd probably be. I mean, I guess Judge is the easy answer because he just doesn't do podcasts. So we think eventually, I think we'll crack that nut. But that's probably the answer is Judge.
What's your walk-up song?
Ooh, I don't have a specific choice at the top of my head. I think I'd be a guy that would change it up pretty often and have fun with it. But there'd be certainly a lot of Kanye West music would be involved. Trying to think of a specific song.
Have you listened to their album Kids See Ghosts? Him and who was it?
Kids see ghosts sometimes.
Kid Cudi, yeah.
Yeah, that was. I listened to that when I'm
album.
having a fire out back. It's like such an awesome like late night with all the instrumentals that just echo into eternity and stuff. Love that. Love that. Do you think there's a meaning of life, and what do you think it is?
Oh no.
No, just floating around.
I just everybody be nice to each other and keep it moving.
You mentioned Yankees Twitter before. What are your thoughts on Yankees Twitter?
And my experience has been pretty overwhelmingly positive, I'd say. I mean, I think some people probably have a worse time than I do, but I think everyone kind of gets what I've got going on, and I feel like I don't get into too many arguments. I mean, I think everyone eventually learns to stop arguing with each other eventually the more you do it. Like I used to just fight with people all the time about like Gary Sanchez because like I've always liked him and all that, and he's obviously a rather divisive figure with the Yankees. So that's like kind of the darkest it ever gets. Is I would get in a lot of fights there, but in general, like I've calmed down. Calm down's not the best word, but I've just stopped engaging in a lot of arguing. And that's made the whole experience pretty good. So I don't have much bad to say.
How often do you get recognized around New York?
Oh, I don't. I have kind of the perfect situation. Like I only kind of get recognized if it's like I'm at Yankee Stadium, and even then I haven't been there enough without Jimmy or Jake also there for me to say for sure that like I get recognized if I walk around the stadium. But
how you feeling overall about the team right now? Do you think that this is just kind of a little bit of fool's gold that we're seeing right now, beating the Jays and the A's, or do you think that they can sustain this and make a real charge in the standings here?
I guess if you asked me a week ago, I'd be pretty down. I would say it's pretty unlikely they can make the playoffs or anything. But last week, not only have they played and looked better, I mean, overall, I'm not sure what changed in the last week, but they're at least putting games together and winning, and overall the offense looks better. And they're benefiting from the Rays sliding and the Red Sox not beating everybody right now. So all of a sudden their 9-game lead in a week became 4.5, and it's just a nice reminder that baseball can move quick. I feel a lot better now than a week ago, and most of the season it's felt pretty bad.
Let's say Brian Cashman turned the keys over to you for the day. Who's the one guy that you're going after?
Either of the Martes. Center field's the kind of clear biggest need. Either of them can do it. Starling Marte, I guess, is the easier trade to pull off, with him being like a rental, fairly cheap, an older guy. So that'd be the easier trade for me to pull off in a day. I think Ketel Marte he'd be kind of the acquisition, and you'd get him for beyond this year. So in a vacuum, I'd love to do that. But as far as just easiness of completing the transaction, Starling Marte would probably be my guy, and he's having a great year. Sliding a little bit lately, but
there's a giant asteroid headed for Earth, going to destroy the world in 24 hours. How do you spend your last day?
I'd probably just hanging out at home and being scared. I guess you try to just like hang out. I know for a fact everything's over in 24 hours. I'm hanging out, having a good time with friends, family, whatever. But trying to think of a funny answer, and I kind of don't have one.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. If you really enjoyed it, check out the swag section. We've got tons of great designs to support all your favorite Yankees. And if you simply cannot get enough Yankees content, check out the podcast version of this channel, The Frieze by NYY Recaps, available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Derek. Thanks for watching.